The silence cracked like glass. A shrill pulse of static burst from every speaker, every screen. Then a voice, low and rasped, cut through. "They're already here." For half a second, the world froze. Coffee cups suspended mid-air. A commuter train ground to a halt. Then, chaos. Televisions blared a distorted alien signal, encoded in screeching frequencies that twisted the stomach. Government scrambled for control, but it was too late. The veil was lifted. The sky itself seemed to respond, clouds parting in jagged spirals, as if something massive stirred behind them. Anna, standing in her living room, clutched her daughter's old photograph, her breath stuck in her throat. Lights flickered, phones died, the ground trembled. Her heart knew before her mind caught up, this wasn't a warning. It was an announcement. In her bones she felt it, "We've been waiting for you." The world tilted sideways, and Anna felt the weight of something ancient pressing down. Sirens wailed in the distance, but inside her home, time moved differently, like she was trapped between seconds. Her phone was dead. The landline emitted nothing but soft hissing. Outside her window, the sky no longer looked like Earth's. It pulsed in unnatural hues, deep violet, burnt orange, electric blue. The wind itself seemed foreign, carrying whispers she couldn't understand. Panic clawed at her throat, but her legs moved on instinct. She stepped outside and saw her neighbors gathered in silent dread, all eyes glued to the sky. No one spoke. No one moved. The signal had changed something in them. In all of them. Somewhere in the distance, a child screamed. Somewhere closer, Anna whispered, "This is real." And that's when the second voice came. Deep, resonant, unmistakably human. "We told them not to wake us." Anna's memories collided with the present. Visions of her daughter's laughter echoed in her ears, distorted by the frequency that still hummed in the air. The government broadcast system activated, voice trembling over static. "Remain indoors. Do not engage. Repeat, do not engage." But Anna didn't listen. She stared at her neighbor's child, eyes blank, nose bleeding, murmuring words that weren't hers. Around the boy, lights flickered in time with his breath. Anna stumbled backward. The transmissions weren't just noise. They were inside people now, turning them into conduits. She fled back into her house, locking the door, her breath short and sharp. A single word had begun repeating over and over in her mind, foreign but somehow familiar. A name. Moi. She didn't know it, but it knew her. The noise stopped. Not gradually, but like a switch had been thrown. Silence blanketed the neighborhood so utterly that even the insects had ceased. Anna paced her living room, hands shaking, eyes darting to the ceiling where shadows curled like smoke. Then her television turned on by itself. Not static. Not news. A face. Or something that pretended to be a face. Geometric. Cold. It spoke with no mouth. "Earth has breached the threshold. Judgment begins." Anna screamed. Ah. Not from fear, but recognition. That thing, she'd seen it before. In her dreams. In her daughter's sketches before the accident. This wasn't new. The signal wasn't just reaching Earth, it had always been here, waiting for the right moment to activate. And it had chosen now. Anna dropped to her knees. Her hands covered her ears. But it didn't matter. The voice was inside. "You are the key," it whispered. Her body burned with cold. Suddenly, reality snapped. Her surroundings melted into flickers of other places. War-torn skies, alien ships, stars dying. For an instant, she stood in the middle of a battlefield that wasn't Earth. Screams, human and otherwise, surrounded her. Then, she was back in her living room, gasping. Blood on her nose. Her heartbeat pounded like war drums. She understood now. The signal was not a threat. It was a summoning. And it was in her, because it had always been meant for her. Somewhere deep beneath the noise, her daughter's voice whispered, calm, clear, impossible. "Don't run this time, Mom. Anna wandered the streets, like a ghost among ruins. The world hadn't ended, but something in it had snapped. Military trucks patrolled neighborhoods. Drones buzzed overhead like mechanical wasps. Emergency broadcasts kept looping the same command: shelter in place. Await further instruction. But no one really knew who was in charge anymore. Buildings stood intact, but trust had collapsed. Anna passed a shattered storefront where a group huddled around a hacked television stream. Raw, unfiltered footage of an alien structure hovering above the Atlantic, partially cloaked. One man muttered, "That's not a ship, it's a gate." Another said, "They've been here longer than we have." Anna didn't speak. She recognized symbols etched into the gate's shell, identical to the ones from her daughter's sketchbook. Her hands clenched. Her life hadn't been random. It had been guided, engineered. Inside a fortified government facility, tension oozed from every surface. Analysts whispered as encrypted data scrolled across black screens. Anna was escorted through a steel corridor flanked by cold fluorescent lights and armed escorts. A female agent, mid-30s, sharp eyes, handed her a sealed folder. "You've been watched," she said. "You're not the first." Inside were surveillance photos: Anna as a child, her daughter at school, even hospital records with anomalies dating back decades. "We traced exposure signatures," the agent continued. "You were in contact before the invasion began." Anna asked, "Why didn't you stop it?" The woman looked away. "We didn't want to." The silence between them was colder than the steel walls. This wasn't a reaction. It had been a plan all along. And Anna had been part of it, without her consent. A former science officer, Dr. B. Elias Runn, met Anna in a crumbling library turned underground resistance hub. Wren's hands shook as he displayed archived footage, alien symbols matching ancient earth carvings, hidden in Sumerian ruins and Antarctic ice. "They've always been here," he said, voice brittle. "We just forgot." His chalkboard was a storm of equations, timelines and genetic diagrams. "Humanity was adjusted," he muttered. "You're a carrier, Anna." Her eyes widened. "Carrier of what?" "A signal. A seed. Buried deep in your bloodline, coded to wake when the gate activates." Anna wanted to scream. Instead, she whispered, "Why me?" Wren looked her straight in the eyes and said, "Because your daughter was the final trigger. She was born knowing what we've spent centuries denying." Anna felt the world tilt again, not from fear, but from truth. Anna was led through a tunnel beneath the city, one not on any map. The agent beside her explained the truth in clipped, bitter tones. A private coalition, politicians, corporate giants, intelligence elite, have been communicating with the aliens for decades. In exchange for technology, they offered obedience. The tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber filled with stolen alien tech, glowing softly. Anna's stomach churned. "You let them rewrite us." The agent nodded. "Yes," quietly. "Every major advancement, medicine, energy, AA, it came from them. In return, we gave them people, disappearances, experiments." Anna's hand brushed a console. It pulsed to life. "Recognized her." "You're not just human anymore," the agent said. "None of us are." Anna turned away. The war hadn't started with the arrival. It had started long before. And Earth had already surrendered. Alone again, Anna stood before a mirror in a dim room. Her eyes, once gray, shimmered faintly violet. She remembered the voice in her mind, the moment the transmission entered her blood. She remembered her daughter drawing the gate before it was public knowledge. Her whole life felt rehearsed, like memories implanted by someone else. A coded life. Her reflection flickered for a second, revealing something. Other. Not alien. Not human. Something in between. She staggered back, hands shaking. "What am I becoming?" she whispered. But deep down, the answer was already there. She wasn't becoming anything. She had always been this. The rest had just been illusion. The transmission hadn't infected her. It had awakened her. The question wasn't whether she could stop what was coming. It was whether she wanted to. Anna stared across the dim bunker at someone she thought she knew. Jace, her oldest friend, her confidant since childhood. He stood motionless as alarms flared in red pulses overhead. "It's time you understood," he said, voice hollow, almost mechanical. His eyes flashed, not with light, but memory. "I was placed here to watch you, protect you if needed, or destroy you if necessary." Anna stepped back. "You're one of them." Jace nodded, slowly. "Not like the others. I chose to stay human. For you." Anna's throat tightened. "How many of you are there?" "Enough," Jace replied, "and not all friendly." The truth settled between them like a wall of fire. Her best friend, her closest bond, had never been real. And yet, he had chosen her. The line between betrayal and sacrifice blurred as Jace whispered, "You need to run." The facility shuddered as explosions rocked the foundation. An incursion. Anna sprinted through metal corridors, alarms blaring in overlapping bursts. Ahead, soldiers collapsed without being touched, motionless, their minds severed mid-thought. Through the smoke emerged a being wrapped in light and silence, cloaked in shimmering armor that distorted around its form. It didn't move like a creature. It moved like an inevitability. Anna ducked behind a bulkhead, her pulse pounding. Jace appeared beside her, wounded but alive. "That's not a scout," he growled. "That's a judge." She turned to him, breathless. "Why is it here?" "Because you're awake." In that moment Anna understood. This wasn't about attack or conquest. It was about evaluation. She had triggered something ancient, something that demanded a verdict. The safe house was gone. The resistance scattered. Anna and Jace made it to a hidden compound in the woods, only to find it already compromised. Inside, survivors gathered around an old satellite feed, but the image was wrong. It showed Earth, not as it was, but how the aliens saw it. "They're mapping consciousness," Jace said. "Not terrain, not infrastructure, people." Anna stared at the stream, each glowing dot representing a mind, a signal source. Then, one dot blinked out. Another. Then another. "They're erasing us," Anna whispered, horrified. But something deeper twisted inside her. The dots weren't just fading. They were being absorbed. Rewritten. She clutched her head as a piercing tone rang in her skull. A new frequency. "They're not killing us," she said. "They're converting us." Something cracked in Anna's mind like a breaking bone. She dropped to her knees as the new frequency carved through her thoughts. Her vision blurred. Faces she didn't recognize flooded her memories, lives she hadn't lived, voices speaking in alien tongues she somehow understood. Jace shouted, "Fight it!" But she wasn't sure she wanted to. The signal didn't hurt, it clarified. For the first time, she felt the full weight of what she was. Not a victim. A vessel. She could hear the language of the invaders, as easily as her own heartbeat. "You are the link," the voice inside whispered. "And the lock." Jace pulled her back, shaking her. "Anna, stay with me." Her eyes flicked open, pupils luminous, irises swirling. "They're not outside us," she said softly. "They're already here, and I just let them in." Dawn broke blood red over the hills as Anna and Jace ran, pursued by silence, by the void where the sky used to hum. Cities had gone dark. No more transmissions. Only the signal, ever present in Anna's skull. A drone buzzed overhead, but instead of attacking, it hovered and scanned her. Then, it powered down and dropped like a stone. "They're afraid of you," Jace said, panting. "Or they recognize you as one of theirs." Anna stared at the downed machine. "I don't even know who they is anymore." Behind her the forest bent unnaturally, trees leaning, grass flattening in reverence. "Then maybe," Jace said, eyes grim, "it's time to stop running." Anna looked toward the horizon, the gate glowing faintly in the distance. She didn't run. She walked toward it. The wind howled across the barren plateau, As Anna reached the outskirts of an abandoned observatory, its dome half collapsed, telescopes long silent. Inside she met an old woman wrapped in layers of black cloth, eyes white with cataracts yet piercing. "I've waited for you," the woman whispered. "Your mother sent me dreams before she died." Anna froze. "My mother died in a car crash." The woman shook her head slowly. "No, she was taken. Not by them, but by those who feared what she carried." She produced a relic, a silver disc etched with alien symbols identical to those Anna had seen in her daughter's drawings. "Your bloodline was seeded, generation by generation, each child more attuned than the last." Anna stepped back, her voice shaking. "Why us?" The woman smiled bitterly. "Because only your line can open the gate and survive it." The woman led Anna deeper into the observatory's ruins, where cracked walls displayed faded photographs, Anna's mother standing beside the same alien glyphs. She decoded part of the transmission before they silenced her. The woman said, "It wasn't a weapon, it was a call to descendants, marked by light, not blood." Anna's eyes traced the grainy images, her mother smiling beneath strange stars, holding a newborn. A notebook lay open on a rusted desk, pages filled with scrawled glyphs and equations in her mother's handwriting. Anna touched the ink-stained paper, trembling. These weren't just memories. They were instructions. "She knew I'd be here," Anna whispered. "She never stopped preparing me." The woman nodded. "You were born from love, but raised for purpose. One can destroy you, the other can save you." Night fell like a curtain as Anna stood alone on a ridge, overlooking the glowing gate. In her hand, the silver disc pulsed with faint energy, syncing with her heartbeat. Then, without warning, symbols ignited across her skin, luminous veins of knowledge and history. She gasped as images tore through her mind. Ancient civilizations whispering into stars, temples built to hold signals. And the truth, the first gate wasn't alien. It was human, created by those who had once touched something beyond. The invaders weren't foreign, they were returners. And Anna wasn't their enemy. She was their consequence. Her entire bloodline had been humanity's fail-safe, a living key encoded to survive the unlocking of cosmic memory. The gate responded to her now, humming low, like it knew she had arrived. Jace arrived as the wind picked up, his face bloodied, his voice hoarse. "They know what you are now," he said. "They'll do anything to keep you from the gate." Distant rumbling echoed from behind the mountains, ships or worse. Anna nodded, calm despite the fear curling in her guts. She stepped forward and pressed the disc into a stone monolith beside the ridge. The air screamed. The monolith shattered, revealing a tunnel made of ancient tech fused with natural rock, pulsing and alive. "Only your kind can enter," Jace said, already fading in the light. Anna turned. "You're not coming?" Jace shook his head. "This is your blood, your burden." Anna paused at the threshold. "Then tell me something true. Just once." Jace smiled faintly. "I was supposed to watch you, but I chose to believe in you." The tunnel pulsed like a living thing as Anna stepped into its heart. Light crawled along the walls, matching the rhythm of her breath. Memories not her own flickered in her mind, experiments, sacrifices, choices made across generations. She wasn't just a result of lineage. She was the decision made long ago to give humanity a second chance. At the tunnel's end stood a chamber, a fusion of temple and machine, centered around a crystalline structure suspended in anti-gravity. The core of the gate. The origin of the signal. Anna approached, and the core reacted, spinning, responding. Her presence unlocked a second frequency, lower, heavier. It wasn't just a call across space. It was a key to something buried within Earth itself. "This isn't just about survival," Anna whispered. "It's about remembering who we were meant to be." Anna placed her hands on the core, and the chamber ignited in a flood of pulsating light. Energy surged through her, not pain, but memory. She saw the origin of the gate, created by Earth's first civilization, guided by something older. Humanity had once been ascendant. They had opened the stars, touched minds across galaxies. But then they feared their own potential, and sealed it away. The aliens hadn't come to conquer. They came to reclaim what was left behind. The gate wasn't theirs. It was ours. And Anna was the key, reborn. As the crystal spun faster, glyphs on the wall flared and realigned. A countdown began. The gate's weapon was awakening, but it wasn't destruction. It was revelation. The truth had been buried to protect humanity from itself. Anna stood still, face glowing with resolve. She wouldn't run from the truth anymore. Far above, in orbit, Earth's satellite grid began to collapse. Black ships emerged from the void, sleek, silent, ancient. They weren't invading. They were observing. The Earth-born signal had activated something ancient inside them, and now they watched, waiting for her decision. Meanwhile, chaos erupted on the surface. Governments lost control. Systems fell silent. Anna's activation of the gate had disrupted every network. In military command rooms, generals shouted over dead feeds. "We're blind," one cried. "She's inside the system." Anna's frequency now hummed through every satellite, every server. The gate's awakening had made her a broadcast point. Her mind was now entangled with the infrastructure of the planet. Earth wasn't being attacked, it was being rebooted. And every faction, every hidden collaborator was scrambling to shut her down before it was too late. Deep beneath London, a covert elite, known as the Council, gathered in panic. Project Blacklight had failed. Anna's lineage had slipped through centuries of manipulation, unbroken. "She was never supposed to activate," one barked. Another replied, "Then we silence her, by force." Plans were made. Assets deployed. But it was already too late. Across the globe, people began to change. Small things, glowing skin, foreign dreams, sudden understanding of languages they'd never studied. The gate's energy was triggering dormant code in those genetically linked to the lost bloodlines. Anna had opened more than a weapon. She had reopened evolution. "We can't contain it," a woman whispered, watching live feeds of people awakening across cities. "She's made us like them." Fear turned to desperation. Earth's elite no longer held control. Humanity was slipping beyond them, and into something new. Anna stood at the apex of the chamber. The gate opened, not with violence but with clarity. Columns of light streamed into the sky, sending waves of harmonic resonance across the planet. Those attuned to it fell to their knees, not from pain but from understanding. Memories that didn't belong to them bloomed like stars behind their eyes. Empathy surged like wildfire. Across borders and languages, people spoke the same words without knowing why. "We remember." It wasn't a weapon of death, it was a weapon of awareness. Designed to collapse the false scaffolding of fear and division. Designed to return Earth to what it had once been, unified. For those in power, it was the ultimate threat. But for everyone else, it was liberation. Anna closed her eyes. Fate had been built to force an awakening. And it had begun. The voice inside Anna grew clearer. Not alien. Not divine. It was hers, older, deeper. "You can sever it," it said. "Turn the gate off, let them forget again." She saw the consequences. Wars would resume, the old structures would return, and the world would pretend this never happened. But humanity would remain safe, in its sleep. Or she could let it finish, risk total collapse of the known order, but give humanity the truth. She turned to Jace, now flickering, barely stable. "What would you choose?" He smiled weakly. "I was programmed to stop you, but now, I die to see what comes next." Anna stepped forward, hands outstretched. She didn't sever the signal. She amplified it. The gate flared, reaching its final phase. No more waiting. No more lies. Earth had made its choice. Through her. The gate's resonance rippled through the Earth's crust and atmosphere, not as a blast, but as a pulse, a message. It spread through oceans and fault lines, through fiber optics and silence. From ancient forests to neon cities, the world stood still. Some knelt. Others screamed. A few wept with relief. Anna remained at the center of it all, her body glowing with knowledge no human had held in millennia. She felt history rewriting itself. Memories that had never been allowed to exist now flowed through her veins like fire and light. "They're remembering," she whispered. "We're remembering." Her voice carried across the empty chamber. The gate wasn't burning the world down. It was waking it up. But with each second, the burden deepened. Anna felt it pressing on her mind, the weight of billions, the collective scream of rebirth. She had lit the fuse. Now she had to survive the fire. In boardrooms, bunkers, and strongholds, the world's power structures disintegrated. The lie could no longer hold. Hidden leaders were exposed in live broadcasts without explanation, their secrets unveiled, their images distorted by the gate's frequency. Financial networks blinked out. Weapons systems deactivated. Those who had ruled by control now found their words meaningless. People rose, not in chaos, but with clarity. Across continents, spontaneous gatherings formed around places of ancient energy, forgotten temples, stone circles, collapsed monuments. The gate had triggered something buried in Earth itself. Anna saw it all through her mind's eye. Her consciousness stretched across the globe. The planet isn't just reacting, she realized. It's participating. For the first time, humanity was standing in unison, not as victims, but as awakened heirs to something older than fear. Jace stumbled through the outer corridors of the gate, his body flickering between human and coded light. "Too close," he muttered, breaking into a slow collapse. His programming, designed to tether him to Anna's path, couldn't withstand the full force of the gate's awakening. Anna found him kneeling near a collapsed archway, his form unstable. "I'm not strong enough," he gasped. Anna dropped beside him, hands trembling. "You chose to stay." He nodded, pain flickering in his smile. "I wanted to know what it felt like, to be real." Her tears fell onto the stone. The light around him dimmed. "You are real," she said. JC's final breath was not fear, but peace. As he faded into pure light, he whispered, "Finish it." Then he was gone. No body, no ash, just a memory threaded into the resonance of a world reborn. The gate reached its final stage. A massive structure emerged from beneath the earth, part organic, part machine, unfolding like a celestial flower. It revealed a throne, not of power, but of convergence. A place designed for the mind, meant to unify the species. Anna stepped forward, every cell in her body vibrating. She heard every thought, felt every heartbeat. The planet was alive with purpose, and it was waiting for her. One final interface hovered above the throne, coded in the same frequency as her daughter's last drawings. She saw this, Anna whispered. She knew. Tears traced down her cheeks as she sat. Not to rule. To connect. The structure welcomed her, not as a queen, but as a conductor. All around the globe, humans stood still, sensing the final decision approach. The world held its breath. The final pulse rose through her body like thunder. Anna's mind opened, past, present, and possibility, all visible at once. She saw the moment humanity first forgot itself. She saw what they could become. But to complete the connection, a sacrifice was required. The signal demanded grounding, a life to seal the transmission. Her own. "If I stay," she said aloud, "I vanish." The gate replied, not with words, but images, her daughter, smiling. A world reborn. Peace, not from force, but from awakening. Anna looked skyward. "Then let me vanish with purpose." She laid back in the throne. Her body dissolved, atom by atom, into the signal. But her presence expanded, becoming the pulse, the memory, the song. Across the world, people looked up as one and whispered, "She chose us." Anna didn't die. She became the truth itself. The gate stood silent. Its glow faded to a gentle hum beneath the earth's crust, now dormant but never dead. Across the world, cities began to stir. There were no sirens, no broadcasts, just people stepping outside for the first time in days, blinking into new light. No one spoke. They didn't have to. They had seen it, felt it, something ancient and impossible pulsing through their blood. In Anna's hometown, a small girl drew the gate on the sidewalk with chalk, unprompted. Others joined. Elders knelt in reverence. Children laughed. There was no official declaration, no anthem, no new government. But something had shifted, irrevocably. The war had ended not with fire, but with memory. Anna was gone, but her echo remained in the rhythm of everything. In every step forward, she walked with them. In what was once the central stronghold of Earth's Shadow Council, doors now stood open, hallways empty. Power had not been seized. It had been abandoned. Monitors flickered with old footage, eyes once used to surveil, now reflecting nothing. Those who had ruled by control now wandered lost, unable to process a world that no longer feared them. Some wept. Some vanished. Some simply sat, staring into the silence. Their enemies no longer hunted them. They were no longer relevant. The gate had turned them into footnotes, echoes of an age extinguished, not by rebellion, but by understanding. The crown had cracked, not from outside force, but from within. Knowledge had made them obsolete. The future didn't belong to them anymore. It never had. In a quiet coastal village, a woman stepped out of her home and heard a voice, not with ears, but within. Anna's voice, warm and steady. "Keep going, you're ready now." It wasn't just the villagers. Across continents, people reported dreams, vivid visions of guidance, of languages they'd never learned, of stars with names never written. Her signal hadn't ended. It had dispersed, threaded through the awakened, coded into the planet itself. Teachers spoke with wisdom they couldn't explain. Artists created from memory that wasn't theirs. The world moved as if gently guided by a hand unseen, but deeply familiar. And though her body was gone, no one questioned it. Anna had not died. She had become the quiet voice at humanity's shoulder, reminding them not who they were, but who they could become. Deep beneath the earth, the gate rested, dormant, but aware. The throne stood empty, glowing softly like an ember under ash. Vines had begun to curl around its base, and water trickled through ancient cracks. Nature, too, had begun to reclaim what once belonged to the stars. Yet the gate's memory remained sharp. It remembered Anna. It remembered the decision. The chamber no longer pulsed with power, it pulsed with patience. One day, it might open again. Not for war. Not for salvation. But for continuation. It had not chosen Anna to be its weapon. It had chosen her to remind Earth of itself. And though it now slumbered beneath stone and silence, the gate's last whisper echoed faintly in the dark. "When you are ready again, we will be waiting." On a wide plateau under a sky no longer hiding stars, a figure walked alone. Not Anna, but someone like her. A young girl, no older than 10, barefoot and calm, her eyes reflecting the cosmos. She stopped at the edge of the world, lifted her hand, and traced a shape in the air. An arc, a circle, a gate. It shimmered briefly, responding. She turned and looked back, not at anyone, but at us. And she smiled. "Somewhere," Anna's voice whispered, "the truth has a price, but it also has a future." The screen faded to black. Silence. Then, a pulse of light in the void. Not an ending, a beginning. The war was never about destruction. It was about remembrance. And now, with Earth awake, the stars themselves were listening again.